that made one guy more money than anybody in the history of fucking boxing, multiples of times. This ain't just one fucking time. This is multiples of times. So how in the world, over 30 years, they don't know what they're talking about? And this is their playing ground in America. You feel me? So they know what this could potentially become. They know how to build it and market it and make it happen what it is. You know, and 4 months of negotiating, sitting back, shit. I remember 4 o'clock in the mornings, we'll be talking to everybody. Me, Shelly, Al, Jay, everybody's talking, coming out like, all right, this is what they want, let's do this. Like, and I'm just sitting here like, all right, let's take this shit. I'm gonna beat his ass. Let's get it. You know what I mean? Then they come out with all these lies and man, it was, you know, I don't even like talking about the situation because, you know, the fight could have been happening, you know, and right now we the man.
But that's what I'm saying. Now sitting back, or you and your team like, hey, it was probably the best.
We're over here in America, but we gonna show. We've been saying we the man. Now it's just coming to pass. We showing everybody.
No, but I mean, are you like happy now that it didn't happen because it only made it bigger and everything?
I'm not happy. No, because I wanted to fight. I mean, like I said again, money ain't everything. We need it to survive or whatever. You know. I'm a different person, man. Look, money, just put it like, money is not everything.
What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. And I was just letting you guys hear a segment of the Boxing Voice where they were interviewing Deontay Wilder. And, of course, it was a rumor about Floyd Mayweather and the negotiations during the DAZN deal where Al Haymon leaned over and told Deontay Wilder that when they offered him $120 million, Al Haymon leaned over and said that is Floyd's training money, you know, training camp money, that type of money that they offered him, you know. And Deontay cleared up the rumors. That didn't happen. But what he did say was valuable in this segment, in this video. And they asked him some good questions, because they asked him, well, if you were going to, or you were willing to take $15 million, why not now you take the $100 million? And he was like, oh, because they bullshitted us for 4 months. They lied to us or whatever. They didn't want the fight. And like you heard him say, I believe you guys heard this cast or heard him talking about the negotiations. And then they asked him, well, aren't you glad you didn't take the $15 million since it's worth more now? And if you noticed, he was like, well, money's not everything, because I wanted to fight him. But then I guess he thought about it. And then you heard like a long, 3-second pause in between. And then he said, man, I just wanted to fight. Money ain't everything. But you were just talking about money in negotiations and turning down $120 million and saying how big this fight could be, because they based the model off of Floyd. And that's when I began the recording. He was stating that, well, I know Al Haymon has a guy or a couple guys that have, and one of them has made more money in the history of boxing. He was talking about Floyd Mayweather Jr. So he was like, well, I'm going to roll with those people because those people made Mayweather what he was. So why wouldn't I roll with them? And then America, this is their playground, which is Al Haymon's playground. So why wouldn't I go with that route? And that's when those questions were asked and got him all, choked up. He couldn't really answer those questions easily. And see, that's the contradiction. And the questions they asked him were good questions, because he was willing to take $15 million, like, hey, fuck it, let's get this fight done. Let's get this fight made. Which his team didn't really want him to accept the $15 million. But he stated he accepted it. But then when the contract was sent over, when they said they accepted it, they sat on it. And when they sat on it, when they finally replied, they said, oh, it was no date or the venue. By that time, Eddie was already in talks with Povectin. The fight is mandatory. Because the thing about Eddie, and one thing I will give Eddie Hearn, he does not just put all his eggs in one basket. He doesn't do that. If you've seen him when Andre was supposed to fight Billy Joe Saunders, and Billy Joe ended up testing popping dirty, right? He already had another substitute. That's what you got to do if you're a good promoter, because you plan ahead for the worst things that can happen in someone's career, especially your fighter that you're promoting. And that's what he did in this situation with Wilder. They were dicking around. You got a time difference between England and the U.S. They weren't on best terms anyways, because these guys didn't even want to sit down and talk, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? Because they're worried about the egos. No, I'm not going to meet you here. You meet us there. We're not even going to talk until you give us this and all. You know, that's not a negotiation. You know what I mean? They're not in a fucking relationship. Negotiations are two people that want to deal business with each other, and these two people didn't. Now, when he was talking about the money, and he said he was listening to that boxing voice, and he said a guy called in, and he said that he sounded mad and hostile that Deontay didn't take the money. You know, he was like, "Oh, Deontay, you got to take that money." And then what he did, he compared that to a typical black man selling out, basically, to take a certain amount of money from white people or the man or whatever. And he said, yeah, you were going to take it, you would have took it, but people that don't have the money, see that and think that's a lot of money. And a year or two down the line, you'll found out that wasn't the right idea. So that's when they asked him about, well, you were willing to take 15 million and now you turned down 100, So he's banking on the idea, okay, that this fight is going to be huge when it happens. Now, you have to really believe in yourself. Really believe in yourself to believe that. You got to have faith that you're not going to lose, for one. And if you do lose, at what cost? You got to believe that everything will remain the same. And the Tyson Fury fight, he had a draw. So, he was known more. But with one pay-per-view under your belt and you turn down $100 million, that's... that's his risk at the end of the day. I think personally it's stupid, because he's trying to base his model off Floyd. First of all, they didn't make Floyd anything. Al Haymon was his advisor. Al Haymon knew the right steps for Floyd to take. But let me tell you something about Floyd. Floyd did things way before Al Haymon came around, unlike this guy, Deontay Wilder. Okay, because people forget about Pretty Boy Floyd, the guy that I knew come up in the ranks, that beat Hernando Hernandez, right? He beat Geraldo, that's his name, Geraldo Hernandez. He beat him for his first championship title at 126 pounds, okay? Or was that 130? I believe that was 130. And he moved up through the ranks and beat everyone. He got froze out a lot of times. Deontay can't do that. Deontay didn't have those type of problems. He was catered. They seen a guy with less skill and a lot of power, and that's what they made. They built on that. They were allowed to show his power, and they knew he really had limited skill, but that's okay because they had limited opposition. Floyd was nothing like Deontay Wilder, and again, I don't see why he's trying to base Floyd off of himself. See, Floyd did so many things before Al Haymon got to him, to the point where all Al Haymon had to do is map out a good, successful plan for someone that's already a star, that really wants to be a superstar, okay? So that's the difference. Deontay Wilder is a guy that never been in the spotlight. He's been with Al Haymon for a long time. Al Haymon knows himself that he's no Mayweather. We could have saw in the last fight. Everyone knew that fight. Floyd didn't have fights like that. Okay? Floyd had kind of close fights. The biggest fight, Castillo. You know what I mean? The Castillo fight. That was his only fight that you can debate But when he was on the top of his game, no. You know what I mean? So Wilder now is okay with the fight being where or when it's going to be, as we all know. But then he wants to get emotional about wanting to fight. So that emotion still carries to this day a certain type of energy with him. And I'm like, well, where is that anger? Where is that energy to fight him? You know, like, hey, I'm going to beat his ass. Well, where is that now? You know, like that just went away. I mean, obviously you don't like talking about it. You know what I mean? And then your boys from the Boxing Voice still caught you up in some shit you can't even answer. He couldn't even answer that question. Because he went from, oh, I'll fight him for $15 million. I'm going to beat his ass anyway. That's confidence. That's the Deontay I want to see, or the Bronze Bomber, or whoever. That's the guy I want to see. Come out. Come forth. Right? Come forth. I want to see that guy. I don't want to see the guy that's pretending to be the businessman and hiding behind his management. I don't want to see that guy. I don't want to see that Deontay. Because that Deontay, I don't think that Deontay exists. I think people talk for Deontay, and I think at that time he's real mad to this day about something that he really wanted to do, and I think his team stopped him from doing that. I believe that. And then now he's trusting his team because they're offering him so much money, and he blames it on his team, and it's not his team at all. His team is the one that fucked him. You know what I mean? He doesn't see that. He's all, have a beautiful team. They're beautiful. If you could be a fly on the wall, that's what he said on these negotiations, how things are, you would be. No, we don't know. We're not flies on the fucking wall. We want to know what you're talking about. We want you to stop being so secretive. That's what we want. We don't want you to say, if you even knew. We don't want to hear Steven Espinosa, if you even knew what we were doing. No, we don't know what you were doing. We don't know what was going on. All we do know is that everything that was offered to you by somebody else, some other network, you have no problem stating that or telling or exposing or exploiting. You know, you have no problems with that. But with your own and this Showtime Secret Service bullshit, this secret society payment plan shit, we never know what you're doing. So we don't know. We're not flies on the wall. And if we ever knew, we don't know. So you need to tell us, like, hey, I make this amount of money. You know, oh, I got places, I'm good. I got properties all over the world. Oh, but I don't want to be bragging. I think you just did. But, you know what I mean? If you make this money, you know, unless it's some illegal shit, and in that case, it's none of my business, and let me shut up, right? But that's that, you know, because a lot of times they get bonuses, I hear from Al Haymon's people, you know, and they're fighters, and that's why they stay where they are, you know. But if it's something illegal, they probably stay because they're obligated to stay to this day, you know. So, no, he really got choked up on this interview. Because I guess he thought about it again, that, hey, that made no sense. Shit, I should have actually wanted to fight him if it wasn't about money. Well, if it wasn't about money, you would have fought him after you beat Tyson Fury. Fuck Tyson Fury. If you feel you beat Tyson Fury, you feel that count was long, what are you fucking with Fury for? You got a draw. You got the belt still. You're still the heavyweight WBC champion of the world, of America, right? The American champ. So why are you worried about Tyson Fury anyhow? Let's be real. Like, though, if he wanted to fight him with that same energy that he's explaining in his interview, now I know what Joshua said made sense and what he was trying to say, but he was saying it in a nonchalant way. He was saying that, yeah, people say shit on camera that they don't say in people's face. And I noticed that. He was talking about Lennox Lewis, but I apply that to Deontay Wilder. Because to this day, he has not walked or came to any Joshua event. Joshua's been here a lot of times, a gang of times, right? And all he can say is, with his big ass ego, is, oh, well, he would come to my fights. Well, why don't you go to his fights if you claim you want to fight for all the belts? Oh, but we know that's not the truth, is it? He doesn't want them damn belts no more. So this fight with him and Joshua for the undisputed. Now get this, guys. he's okay with this fight being next year, right? Well, he has to understand the fight can only get bigger if they both continue winning. You see what I'm saying? And if they continue winning, that's the only way it's going to get big as it is. See, if Joshua gets upset by Miller, right, the fight is not going to be what it was. Let's face it, because then Miller will have the belts. Then he'll probably go after Miller, and that fight will be made quick. Like that. But if Deontay Wilder loses, the same shit. All that goes away just like that. And people don't understand it, and he doesn't understand that. And I hope he does. I hope someone's telling him, like, Deontay, think about what you're doing before you do it. If you get out of this Dominic Brazil fight, don't go fucking around. Like Adrian Broner said it best, don't fuck the money up. Because that's what happens in this situation. And Wilder, he's smelling himself. I mean, he never made $100 million for anything, right? For nothing. For what we know, the last pay-per-view, are the numbers still in? I don't even know if the true numbers of the pay-per-view are still in. You know what I mean? And what revenue he's actually cleared and got or whatever received, right? We don't know that. All we know is the $4 million. Now the upside, it had as an upside because it's supposed to be $325 million pay-per-view buys, and it had to do 250, so that's 75,000 more. Okay, so we're done with all that math, but we don't know how much he received. So he hasn't had any money of $100 million or $20 million, anything like that. But hopefully they gave him something enough for him to stay. But one more point I want to make before leaving, where he was trying to talk about the fan, and he was stating that, the fan, typical black men would have took money that, white guys gave him or whatever. Okay. You just don't fall for anything, and it seems like a lot of money, and it's not, because we didn't know how much Joshua was getting. Boom. Joshua, if you think that turning down $100 million, right? If you think that was smart because you seen the vision ahead or what it could potentially be, why do you think Joshua didn't take the $50 million that, we've already debunked that, because that really wasn't a real offer. That was the situation. But why do you think he didn't? Because Joshua never said he turned down the $50 million. You never heard him say, I turned down $50 million. He never said that. He wanted to know where it was coming from in a contract explaining the $50 million and the stipulations thereof. See, that's where people get everything fucked up. But, if you thought that was cool and some typical man to take any old thing that someone gives them and all this and that, I'm from Alabama, well, what do you think Anthony Joshua did? What do you think his crew, his team did? No, that's a no-brainer. I mean, we not even know if the shit's real. Who said they would have took it or not, right? So you can't say that for yourself and not say that for Anthony Joshua, because that's the exactly reason that you said he was a coward, because he turned down $50 million. And now you turn down twice as much and then some. But anyway, guys, this is me counterpunching Deontay Wilder and the statements in this video. You tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.